Hey everyone, and welcome to Brad Talks About One Piece, the live action series. Currently on Netflix. Hopefully one day released on DVD and such. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Basically, I just wanted to talk about it because I am a long-standing One Piece fan. I've done a number of videos on the series. I've done a number of cosplays of different characters. Zoro, Brook, Sanji. Took me a second. And a very basic Frankie one time. So I just want to give my thoughts on, is the series fun, interesting, worth the effort? And, the short answer is yes. Basically, the story taken on its own, from episode 1 to 8, it works. There's some things that I don't care for as much, and part of that is just, oh hey, in comparison to the actual story, the anime or the manga, it's a bit different. And there's still some things that I don't appreciate as much. Like, just by itself. One of the things that kind of bothers me at times is Luffy. Luffy obviously, is, pretty immature and ridiculous because his character is, if I recall right, 16 at the start of the series. So yeah, he's still a bit childish and ridiculous, but he has his moments where he shows, hey, I'm actually serious about this. And he does also have those moments within this series, but one of the big sticking points with me was one of the major moments with Zoro. And actually, really quick, before I even continue on with this, I'm just going to say spoiler warning throughout this whole thing, because, it's 8 episodes, it's roughly 8 hours tops. So yeah, and also there are going to be comparisons drawn to the original anime / manga, so beware of that, But yeah. One of the things that just threw me off with this series was, like I said, a bit of the immaturity of Luffy. Whenever Zoro goes to fight Mihawk, Nami after the fact, why didn't you talk him out of it? What were you thinking? And he was like, I didn't expect Zoro to lose. In the anime, with the actual fight, we get to see Luffy struggling with, the issue of Zoro is clearly outmatched in this fight. But, he also understands that Zoro, has his code of honor where I have to fight this guy by myself. Even if it, ends in defeat. I can't accept any help. And, Luffy respects that wish because there are a couple people who do want to intervene, and he stops them. And, we don't get that vibe as much with Luffy. We get some respect for other characters, the situation with Nami and her village. I don't know the situation. I don't care what's going on. I'm just waiting for you to ask for my help, because I know you need it. And yeah. So he has good moments, but he does have some kind of stupid, ridiculous moments. That kind of undercut the character to a degree. But he also does have some nice humanizing moments. After the fight with Zoro, in the confrontation with Nami, he doubts and questions himself. My gut has been guiding me wrong a bit recently. I felt that. So, Luffy, the character, the main character, is a bit wishy-washy. Overall, good, solid, it works, but, yeah, it's not perfect. Let's see, I'm just trying to think of, what I can say about the series overall, because, honestly, this is just going to be random and freeform until I get done with my thoughts. One of the big things that I really liked with this is we get to see, all of the backstories. Maybe not as much detail as, the anime and manga had given us, but, what we see, it hit home for me because we're seeing actual human people go through these things. Luffy's backstory isn't as well developed. I mean, it's what we got before, as far as I can tell. Oh, hey, I was palling around with Shanks. Here's how I ate the devil fruit. Yada, yada, yada. But some things weren't as developed. Like Zoro. Yes, we see the duel with Kuina. He makes the promise. But we don't get to see, him basically pushing himself to the limit, to fulfill that promise. Like, that was a bit disappointing. But, and seeing Usopp's backstory, with running through the village telling everyone, pirates are coming, Mom, I told you, see, Dad's gonna be here soon, and, that bit where her story ends. Obviously, I've got some personal stuff with that, so, yeah, head home, but, yeah. God, Sanji's story. Being stuck on the rock with Zeph for 70 days. And, yeah, just... whew. And then Nami's backstory. One of the big scenes that really stuck with me from early on in the series is, Nami confronting the villagers. Like, no, you can't fight Arlong. I'm not going to let you do that. It'll be fine. I know so much more now. It'll be so quick for me to get the money so that I can buy the village and they just run past her, and then what she ultimately decides to do. Self-harm. And yeah. Let's see, what are some of the other what are some of the other things that I liked? Episodes 3 and 4, dealing with Usopp's village. Like, that setting and just that whole scenario was pretty cool and interesting. It kind of stinks that we don't get the raid on the island and Luffy and crew thwarting that. But, with the version of the story they told, it was good and interesting. So, I liked it. Obviously, skipping over episodes 1 and 2, yeah. Going back to episodes 1 and 2. The fight with Axe and Morgan was interesting. In this retelling of the story, like, some details are going to be different, some characters are going to be, they're going to do different things. And one of the things here is, like, it's more realistic in that, some of these larger-than-life bad guys aren't, like, 9 and 10 foot tall monsters. They're, like, regular-sized dudes, probably 6 foot or so, but they're powerful. So, it's not just, oh, hey, Luffy, this dude who's probably 5'5" or so, has to take on this giant dude. Like, it's a team effort. Luffy, Zoro, Nami have to come together to take on this dude who has a literal axe for a hand, an iron jaw, and is a freaking veteran Marine who's pretty strong. And just, like, teamwork for a couple of different things, like the buggy fight, like, holy cow. Whenever we get to see the village, it's not much, but God, that stuck with me. And just what he's doing to the people, and yeah, and also, like, a lot of people said, man, I love Buggy. Like, they do him justice here. He's great. He's interesting. He's very cool. I liked him. I liked the performance. I love all the performances, honestly, overall. I can't think of a bad one. And then one of the other interesting things that I really liked was just some of the... Obviously, in the anime, we have some different characters. Like, Miss Kai's butler, Mary. Like, he's kind of got, like, a sheep head, and just... how they transferred that to live action was interesting. And then Arlong and the Fishmen, like... there was some ridiculous lookingness to it. Like, that karate guy and Chu's, like... duck-faced lips. Yeah. But, it's interesting, like, seeing these guys, like, actual dudes, go toe-to-toe with Luffy, Usopp, Zoro. Trying to think of just, like, other noteworthy things, to talk about. Because it's hard, and I'm just doing this freeform, like I said. I'm not sure what else to say, so I'm just going to, I guess, wrap it up quickly. Basically, it's interesting for those, who watched One Piece, 10, 15 years ago, like, a long time ago. The series is still ongoing. This condenses the first, I think it's 48 episodes, down into 8 one-hour episodes. So some stuff's cut, some stuff's different, some stuff's gone entirely, and that's fine. Like, on its own, it's an interesting story. I felt invested in it. I like these characters, I like these actors, I like the performances. It works. Hardcore One Piece fans, you'll definitely see some interesting Easter eggs, like some of the some of the wanted posters that come up, some of the different characters that appear. Oh god, one of the things that I loved as a classic One Piece fan was Baroque Works comes up a couple of times in this. Like one of the things they talk about before before Zoro met up with Luffy, he was approached by Baroque Works to join the organization. I forget what number the guy was, but yeah, Zoro fights that guy and handles him. And we get to see that. And it was like, whoa. Because it was just talked about before. But actually seeing, oh, hey, like, what Zoro ultimately did to this guy, which was, oh, hey, cut him into a couple of pieces. And then carry that bag to turn in that bounty. Whew. It shocked me, but it was good. And just overall, like, the effects were good. Like, Buggy splitting into pieces for his attacks, and I've seen some behind-the-scenes stuff for how they did that. Awesome. I loved it. That's cool. Some things do look a bit ridiculous, like whenever Luffy stretches, like, what are you going to do, though? It's what he does. It's one of the drawbacks to making it live action, but beyond that, it works. Like, it's not as often, it's not all the time. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say I liked it. It's a nice little refresher. Like, again, if you're hardcore, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they got rid of, this bit, that bit. I was saying that at times. Like I mentioned earlier, not showing Zoro pushing himself after Kuina. But I'm able to get past that. And I'm able to set the story on its own, and go, okay, this works. It's solid. It's interesting. It builds up from one thing to the next. And I will say, like in the series, there are times where, like, oh no, you guys got stopped really bad. Oh hey, rematch time. Like, you actually pull it off. Like, it was a bit ridiculous sometimes in the anime, I'm going to be honest with you. But, it worked here because, there was like, okay, I'm not going to just go head, toe-to-toe with you. I'm going to be smart and figure things out. Oh, God, and the fight between Usopp and Shu, like, they didn't do Usopp's character as much with character development. I'm kind of disappointed in that. Basically, Usopp's thing is, he lies and tells tall tales and, all that stuff. He does, embellish the truth sometimes and tell fantastic stories, but he's not consistently lying. And trying to make himself look better, and they don't get that character growth. Like, whenever he fights Chu in the anime, he basically fakes his death, and then is like, oh man, I'll just tell the guys, oh yeah, I ran as far as I could, and then I lost that fish guy, darn, but, I gave it my all. And, then he realizes, like, I can't do that. I have to actually fight this guy. Not for Luffy and the crew, not for anyone else, but for myself. To prove that I am brave and strong. And, yeah, like, they have the fake death thing, but then he just gets up and he's like, hey, where you going, fish lips? Like, if they would have at least had some internal, dialogue of, like, no, I can't do that. Like, that would have been good, but hey, guy's walking away. Ha ha! I tricked him. Like, I don't know. It didn't work as well for me. But, like, those complaints are just nitpicks. For this 8-hour thing. They have confirmed Season 2. Jamie Lee Curtis, who is apparently a fan of the series, will press for trying to be Dr. Kureha in Season 2. Hopefully that works out. After the strikes and everything. We'll see how things go. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, man, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think it's a good litmus test for people who may be, like, curious about One Piece and are like, is this series worth watching? I would say definitely by the end of the 8 hours, you'll know. I would hope by the end of, the first or second episode, maybe, you'd go, okay, I'll at least check this out. See how it goes. You may like it, you may not. And that's fine. I totally get it. I know some people who are not fans of the series. That's fine. Yeah. So I would say, if you have Netflix, you have some free time, you want to check it out, by all means do so. I think you'll have some fun with it. There's some ridiculous stuff. There is also some emotional drama stuff that is good and done well. And yeah. I hope, my casual words, spur some people to at least check it out if they haven't. Or, some of my friends who do have some interest, but this is a bit shorter at least. Just saying, instead of, roughly 16 to 20 hours of anime you have to watch, you can watch, 8 hours of live action stuff. For now. There's 1,000 plus episodes. I forget how many manga chapters. It's crazy. But, it's just a nice little sample. If you want to check it out. And I hope you guys do. And hey, maybe if you want to talk about it, by all means, feel free to hit me up. If you're looking for some other stuff, I can tell you about a bit of the future with the story. Not what Netflix is going to do, but, some of the later chapters that I've already read through. Like I talked about, we've got Baroque Works. We had a bit of foreshadowing of Smoker, who I am waiting to see. Also Chigi. Because the Zoro Kuina thing, not because... Yeah, cool. That's what I have to look forward to in Season 2. Also Chopper. And I would guess that if, I'm going to guess Season 2 is going to end at Alabasta. After Alabasta, hopefully. Because I think there's some stuff that, leads up to it. But it's definitely a good, solid mini-arc in itself. Like East Blue was. You can take all of East Blue as an arc. With just small stories inside. Luffy by himself, meeting Zoro, Nami, Usopp, Sanji, etc. So, it gets my seal of approval. You did excellent work. They also worked with Ichiro Oda. Ichiro Oda. I'm sorry, I'm bad at saying words. Please don't be mad. The creator of the manga. They were like, hey, let's do this right. Let's talk to the man, the myth, the legend, the creator. And I think it worked. I don't know. Maybe this is just a fan gushing over a series actually going well for once. I don't know. Whatever you want to take from it, take from it. I think I'm good, though. So until next time, everyone, have fun, stay safe, keep hydrated, and, till next time, come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. I'm Valiant Bradley James, character investigator, One Piece fan, and potentially pirate. Who knows? Peace out.